Welcome to the Anxiety Connection. If you've ever struggled with anxiety and are ready to finally get some answers, you've come to the right place. Hi, my name is Wendy Leeds, and I've suffered with anxiety my entire life. Thankfully, I'm also a psychotherapist, and over the years, I've learned a lot about anxiety, where it comes from, and how to manage it. That's what this podcast is all about. So, let's grab a cup of tea and talk about it. Today, I'm going to talk about your home. Now, I bet you're thinking, home. That's the brick and mortar place I leave every morning and where I return every evening. I've got my name on the mailbox, and my favorite comfy chair is in the corner. But that's not what I'm talking about at all. I'm talking about the place you've lived since you drew your first breath and where you're going to live until you leave this earth. I'm talking about your amazing, magnificent body and how to care for it physically in a way that eases your anxiety. I'm going to share 5 great things you can do every day to feel better physically, and even more importantly, as far as I'm concerned, these are tips that will help lower your anxiety and create a sense of emotional well-being and peace in your life. Doing these things daily will lower your stress level and naturally ease your anxiety, and I am so hoping you'll give them a try. I think the best way to get started is just to begin by sharing one of my favorite stories. There once was a carpenter who really prided himself on his work. He always bought and used the very best materials. He measured twice and cut once. He paid attention to the smallest details because he knew those details would make a really big difference to the people who would live in that house for years to come. Now, this carpenter worked his whole career with a general contractor who felt exactly the same way about the houses they built together. Quality, quality, quality. Not unexpectedly, they had a great reputation for building sturdy, elegant, peaceful retreats, homes that stood the test of time and were always in great demand. But after almost 3 decades of working together, the carpenter decided it was time to retire. He went to his friend, the general contractor, and said, "I have so enjoyed working with you all these years, but I'm getting older and I want to retire now while we're on top of our game. I just couldn't bear to let people down with less than our best work." The general contractor sadly agreed with his friend. The time had come to part ways, but he said, "Before you end your career, I have one last favor to ask. Could you, as a personal favor to me, build just one last house?" The carpenter was really upset at the request. He felt his friend was using him to, put a little more money in the bank. But because of their years together, the carpenter reluctantly agreed to build the one last house. But when he showed up to do the work, his heart was not in it. He didn't bother to use the best quality materials. He rushed through the project, not bothering to measure twice, that's for sure. He just slapped things together in an attempt to be finished and done. He knew this house wasn't anywhere near his best work, but he was so annoyed with the general contractor, and he just wanted his career to be ended. When he finally finished, the carpenter went to his friend and handed the keys to the general contractor and said, "Here, I'm done. Our partnership is over." "Not so fast, my friend," the general contractor said with a smile, and he handed him back the keys. "You have been such a great friend and partner over all these years. I've thought and wanted to give you the greatest gift I could come up with, and that is a home of your own. And the house you just built is my gift to you. My friend, all this time, you've been building your own home." And that's the truth for all of us. We're all building our homes, the bodies where we're going to live today and for the rest of our lives. The thought and care we put into how we take care of ourselves determines the quality of the life we live. And by the way, we're not just building these wonderful bodies, we're also in charge of maintenance and upkeep, just like that brick and mortar place you live. I know what it looks like when I let the dishes pile up in the sink. And I know personally how it smells when the laundry stays in the hamper for a week. And just imagine what would happen if you didn't deal with the overflowing toilet or the leaking refrigerator. Chaos and confusion, right? Same with your body. When you don't take care of it, chaos and confusion, which show up as less than perfect physical health and less than perfect emotional wellness, not to mention extra stress and anxiety. Here's what I've learned over the years. If you don't take care of yourself, no one else is going to do it for you. And if you keep putting your needs at the bottom of your to-do list, or maybe you're not even on your to-do list, not only do you cheat yourself, but you cheat the people who love and depend on you. Because if you don't take care of yourself, you can't show up and take care of anyone or anything else. And you are important to a lot of people. So, are you ready to make a change? I really hope so. And I would love to get started. And here's how. Step one is just to notice how you think and talk about your body. And I'm beginning what I believe is the most important step of all. And that's being open to loving and accepting yourself exactly as you are. It's time to stop trying to be someone else, because that's already taken. It's time to stop trying to be someone smarter, braver, tougher, or one of those lucky people who don't have anxiety. It's time to stop waiting to love and accept yourself until you're no longer afraid of thunderstorms. You can speak confidently in front of a whole room full of people, or you just feel cool, calm, and collected all the time. Today, I'm going to ask you to stop waiting to be different and start changing the way you look at yourself. Because I'll tell you, I see you very differently. First of all, let me remind you what you've been through over all these years, all the stress, all the fear, all the worry. And you know what? You're still here in spite of all of that. Look, we both know what kind of strength it took to face those fears day after day. I know what kind of energy, self-talk, and bravery it takes just to get out of bed some mornings. I know what kind of courage it's taken to face those fears of yours. And through all that, you've found a way through, and you're still standing. Think of the time you walked into that meeting you've been dreading. You walked into that oncologist's office, or you got on that elevator or escalator in spite of your sweating palms and your shortness of breath. Think of the strength it's taken, the countless little acts of bravery that have gotten you this far in life. You have come all this way. You have accomplished so many things in spite of sleepless nights and sometimes paralyzing fear. And how do I know? I have been there. In spite of all you've been through, you keep standing up. And that takes the bravery of a superhero or shero. You are amazing. And I'm suggesting it's time to stop scaring yourself and yelling at yourself and to accept and love the courageous super you exactly as you are. Which brings me to the way you talk to yourself, the things you tell you about you. Now, I've talked about self-talk before. I'll talk about it again. But today, I want to include in that the way you talk about your body. No more belittling, no more blaming, and no more shaming. From now on, let's agree you're going to describe your body with the same kind of supportive, loving language you'd use to describe the body of a beloved friend or family member. Please, please be compassionate with you. No more body shaming. No more yelling at you. From now on, I encourage you to begin to talk about your magnificent body with the gratitude and respect it deserves for all it's done for you and for all it will do for you in the years to come. Your body deserves the best. Step 2 is to learn to listen to your body. Just listen, because that amazing body of yours is always telling you what it needs to feel calm and comfortable. It tells you when it's hungry, thirsty, tired, stressed, overworked, and anxious. It pleads with you. Eat something, go to bed, stop working so late, for heaven's sakes. But if you're like most of us, until today, you've been too busy, too distracted to listen. Today, let's start listening, which brings us to step 3, which is to feed and water your body. How many times have you forgotten to eat and gotten so hungry you felt like you were crazy, out of control, or what I call hanktious? Maybe you've heard the term hangry, which is a combination of the word hungry and angry. Well, anxiety is a term I've coined to describe the combination of hungry and anxious. And I coined it because I live it. When we get too hungry, our blood sugar falls, and that causes the anxiety. And believe me, I know, because I am a world-class sufferer from anxiety, as my family would be very willing to tell you. Feed her. When I don't eat, I get really anxious. And there are a couple of things I do you might want to consider trying. I try to eat at regular intervals throughout the day. I never go without breakfast. I love breakfast. I get up thinking about what I get to eat. I don't skip meals. For me, that is a sure recipe for anxiety. I like to travel with a snack just in case, because I can get ugly without my snack. I usually take a combination of raisins and nuts, but do what works for you. All right, so let's agree. When you're hungry, you're going to eat something, but maybe not too much, which is the other side of the food equation. So many of us eat when we're under stress or anxious. It is so easy to reach for a plate of fudge, rip open a bag of chips, or just finish that little piece of pie that was left in the dish. Way easier to eat than to face your fears. And truth is, food is available for most of us. It doesn't talk back. It never tells you, you're wrong. You're such a loser. Food doesn't confront, blame, or yell at you. It's just there. And on the contrary, food offers comfort, warmth, a distraction, a refuge from your worries and fears. In times of stress, food can look like such a good friend. But after you've thrown away the ice cream carton or the donut box, under the rest of the trash so no one can see, right? How do I know? I'll never tell. But after you've thrown everything away, after you've finished licking up the last crumbs, I bet you're not feeling any better. In fact, you're probably more anxious. And there's a reason for that. Eating too much refined sugar can make your blood sugar, your glucose level, spike, then crash. And that crash makes you irritable, cranky, and anxious. So, a really powerful way to care for yourself emotionally as well as physically, and I know we always talk about the physical impacts of overeating or undereating, but to care for yourself emotionally, eat a balanced, healthy diet. Now, I'm not saying do without. I love occasional treats, and I believe deeply that ice cream is medicinal. But for the most part, focus on eating a smart diet. When you're thirsty, drink a glass of water because being just a little dehydrated can raise the cortisol level in your body. And cortisol is one of those anxious hormones, the hormone that can really make you jittery. So when you're thirsty, grab a glass of water and drink up. Don't let yourself get too dehydrated. Step 4 is to get moving. If you've been sitting at the computer for hours, if your neck is cramped, your jaw is tense, and your shoulders are hunched around your ears, it's time to get up and move a little. Your body wasn't built to sit for hours like that. It was designed to walk, swim, climb, or dance for joy. Your body was made to move. And not only does exercise make you feel better physically, it also reduces stress and anxiety. And there are studies that show that for some people, regular exercise worked as well as medication to reduce the symptoms of anxiety. So just going for a walk can make a difference in how you feel. You don't have to run a marathon, wear spandex, or swim an ocean to feel better. Just a few minutes of dancing, biking, or yoga can make such a difference in how you feel. So get that beautiful body of yours in motion. Step 5 is to rest your body. When your body tells you you're tired, go to bed, no fair staying up and binge watching TV or playing video games. Because research shows that not getting enough sleep can play a role in activating regions of your brain that contribute to excessive worrying. Personally, I don't need any research to know that when I don't get enough sleep, I get anxious. I'm walking proof. And maybe you are too. So if you're serious about easing anxiety and feeling better all over, get enough rest. Finally, if your body's telling you it's on empty, if you're grinding your teeth, looking for the glasses on your head, and yelling at people for no reason, if you're overworked, overwhelmed with stress and worry, it's time to take some time to play. When your body says, I need a break, honor it by going and doing something fun. Dance up a storm, watch the stars come out, make and eat ice cream, garden, paint a masterpiece, do whatever brings you joy. And if you can't think of anything right now, think back to what you liked to do when you were a kid. Did you like to play with blocks? Did you like Monopoly, going for a ride on your bike? Great. Go buy yourself of Legos, which are not for children anymore. Challenge someone to a game of Monopoly in person or online. Go buy, rent, borrow a bike, and go for a ride. And maybe, just stop taking yourself so seriously. If you seriously want to reduce your stress and anxiety, go ahead and laugh a little at yourself. Loretta LaRouche, one of, I think, the funniest women on the planet, has all sorts of hilarious suggestions for ways to ease tension. But my very favorite is her suggestion to buy and keep a colander in your car. You know, those things from your kitchen you used to strain your pasta. When you're in traffic and trying to merge into a new lane, put the colander on your head. Now, smile and wave at the person you'd like to merge with. They may smile back and wave and motion for you to go, or they may just be so afraid that you're crazy, they'd rather have you in front of them than behind them, and they may motion for you to pull out in front of them. Either way, whatever happens, you've reduced your stress by laughing, which gets your body moving, which reduces your stress. And just maybe you made someone or some other people laugh too, and that's a win-win. So let me sum up. Love and accept your magnificent self just the way you are. Listen to your body and honor its needs, and be gentle with yourself as you work on creating a healthy body and an ongoing sense of emotional well-being and peace. And that's what we're here about at the Anxiety Connection. Now, I have loads of other suggestions for healing anxiety, just way too many to get in here. But you can find them all in my new book, Calm and Sense, A Woman's Guide to Living Anxiety-Free. This book is just full of tools and techniques I've learned and used over the years. Things like what foods to eat to ease your anxiety, how to take charge of your environment, and my favorite, how to create an anxiety-free day. Just tons of common sense things you can use right now to feel better. Anyway, I'm so excited. This book is coming out soon. I just cannot wait for you to see it. I can't wait to see the cover. I can't wait for you to have it by your bed or in your Kindle. Anyway, if you want to have a copy, please go to wendyleeds.com and put your name on the wait list. I don't want to disappoint anybody. And we'll put the link in the show notes to make sure you have them. And if by the time you hear this, the book is already out, aren't you lucky? You can go right over to wendyleeds.com and get your copy right away. No waiting for you. Yay. Thanks so much for sharing this journey with me. I am so glad you're here and a part of this Anxiety Connection. And if you'd like to be an ongoing member, please subscribe. If you enjoyed this podcast, I would be honored if you'd leave me a review. And until we're together again, I wish you peace, joy, and love.